Good morning, good morning, good morning. Running a couple of minutes late. I have to tell you guys, I jump off from one training that I'm doing, and give everybody a break at 10, and then I do the show, and then we hop back on. So it's working. It's really working, and I appreciate the fact that I'm able to come to you every week to just share knowledge and information, especially on our Wednesday episode or broadcast, which is Wednesday's Women webinars, where we are working on our circle of success. And I really am proud of that project that I've created, and that it is not only a benefit to the women, but it also can be a benefit to men as well. And I think that everybody should definitely look deep inside and figure out what it is that makes them who they are. And once you know that, then you can definitely expand upon who you are and what you want to do, and just basically how you want to live your life. And especially when it comes to um, individuals like myself and Rick, who are, we're getting up in age. I don't like to look at it that way. But I'm 63. He's going to turn 64 in 9 days, and we decided we were going to reverse things. I'm going to be 36, and he's going to be 46. So we're trying to live in that moment, live in that space. That's what our time is right now, and that's who we are, what we're going to do. But I definitely want the Circle of Success to be a motivating webinar series that allows people to have a takeaway on each and every episode, and be able to just define who they are, who they may want to become, and what it's going to take to actually get there. And so we started out with the first series where we did discuss our let's get there. Well, before we do that, I always want to give my shout out for my concept in life, and that is: do invest in yourself, do learn new skills, do be empathetic, and do help others. And when you do all of this, what does it do? It brings back good karma to you. It brings back good opportunity. People share information, they give information. They just want to be in a better mindset where things are running on a level that's helpful to not only themselves but to others as well. And you'd be surprised that people who think it's all a big fake kind of portrayal, but it's not. If you feel that in your heart and you want to implement it and you want to share it, just do invest in yourself so that you can help other people to learn new skills. Do become empathetic so that you understand what someone else is going through, so that you can help them, which leads to helping others. And if you help others, I cannot tell you how important it is that it will help you. So, in review, we determined our worth, our value. We did the SWOT analysis, which is different from SWAT, although we will be talking about the SWOT today. But I developed this SWOT. I think I'm the creator of it, and so I replaced ours is for on a personal level is strengths, weakness, worth, assets, and threats. Strength, worth, assets, and threats. Whereas in the business world, it's strengths, weaknesses, and assets, and threats. I think the A, actually is not, it's O. I got to remember what that O stands for. Um, but we're going to be talking about it. And this is the circle of success, where we got a ways to go. So each one of these represents a series. And it also, like brand, is two parts to it. So, and I think we did two parts to value as well. And so brand, we're in part two, which is for the business world. So we'll get right to it. And what's important here is to understand what your value is for the business. And there is a workbook. If you've been following our series, you'll know that there's a workbook that comes along with this broadcast that you have to email me to get. And in the workbook, you would have defined your business brand, and knowing what the worth is of and value will determine what the success of your business brand will be. So we still have that same analogy. Your worth plus your value equals your business brand. So important, because if you have a business and your business is just, it's not doing a good, honest deed for your customer base, then you have to reassess yourself. Because if it's ripping people off, if it's doing things that are unethical, if it's doing things that really don't benefit, your clients, you got to really look at it and determine, is this who I really am? Is this what I want to leave my legacy to be? Is this the process that is most beneficial to me? And hurting people or being dishonest to people. And I've said this for years. When I first started my business and I would go speak to people about how I started the business, I would always tell them, and I still do this to the day. And my business started in 1990 officially. I had a home-based business from 1988 to 1990. And in 1990, I went to a storefront and quit my job. And so that is really my true start year, because I was not relying on my career, my job to run my business. So I use that as my official start date, even though I started 2 years before that building it so that I could open up in a storefront. But yet I always tell people, just be honest, just do people right. Just create a world and an environment that people can respect you for. And people don't respect you for how much money you make. Truly, they respect you for what you do with that money, and how you got that money, and how you deliver it to people who you can help with that money. And that's the reason why God will bless you with so many assets, because when you get those blessings, the idea is that you share those blessings, you share with other people. So if I see you wanting to start a business, and it could be the same business I'm in, I'm not going to turn you away because you're going to be my competition. I'm going to welcome you. I'm not going to give you my trade secrets. I'm not going to be, crazy about it, but I'm going to help you start your business, because I look at it, if I help you get your business going, and so you offer something same or similar, I'm going to be on top of my game to make sure that I have a better product or service than you do. That's going to be my, what I'm going to do. And most of the time, people don't open up in the same city doing the same thing. They may have the same business a couple of cities away or a couple of counties away. And so helping someone else is not detrimental to your business. It may be it may help your business in a way that you never thought of. So be honest, stay true to your brand, stay true to your morals, stay true to who you are and what you want your legacy to be, because people will talk about you no matter what, but you always want them to be able to say, at the end of the day, she always did the right thing, or he always helped another person. And, that's important. That's going to help your children and the next generations of your family, receive the blessings that you set out from the beginning. And you got to remember too, karma can be good and karma can be bad. So if you do negative things, that negativity is going to come back on you and your future generations. So just always stay honest and always stay in the world of doing the right thing as much as you possibly can. And I know, like today, for one of my clients, I had to terminate a lady. And I felt bad having to terminate her. But at the same time I terminated her, I told her I'm going to call her this afternoon and check on her, number one. And number two, I'm going to help her get into a training program that will allow her to obtain the skills that she was lacking, which was due to the fact that she got terminated. And so I'm going to make it my business to help her succeed. And I also told her that one door shutting means that a new opportunity is around the corner and you have to prepare yourself for it. So again, it's just, taking a situation that you had to deliver bad news, but also giving opportunity in another format that will help that person. That's a good thing. That's really, really good. Even though I still had to do my job. I'm a business consultant, and I do the hiring and the firing, and I always make it my business to, if I'm going to fire someone, that I also give them an opportunity to find a new direction to go into that's going to benefit that person. So, business branding, you definitely, want to make sure that your brand is the public expression of who you are and what your company represents. And the first step of branding is to create a strong brand and a positive, powerful 67 business presentation statement, just in the way you did for your professional presentation statement. The only difference is, instead of talking about your value and your worth on a personal / professional level, you're going to do the same thing for your business. And there are a couple of different ways, different types of statements that you're going to create. And most of us are going to do both. But a business brand statement presentation is useful when you want to tell someone about your business and your business experience. So that's the objective of it. And why would you be doing that? Because you want them to become a client, or you want them to refer you to someone else, or you just want that positive energy about your business to be put out there, so that anybody that kind of gets a notion of it or gets knowledge of it will, again, make recommendations to other people, and just pretty much be an objective for you, opposed to an objective against you. And there's two types of brand statement presentations that you can create. Obviously, one is your product. That would be a brief description of your product and how your product can benefit the customer, client, or another business. Most people in business worry more so about their client than they do at looking at their competitors and other people that are in business just in general. So let's say you're a training company, and you're knowledgeable of a company that you just do in-class training, and you are knowledgeable of a company that does online training. So let's say a company that's doing online training has a request for in-class training and they don't want to honor it. Wouldn't it be great if you were the first person that came to their mind to make that referral so that you would get that contract, opposed to just saying, as the original business owner, we don't offer any in-class training. We actually do just online. I can't tell you the many times where I've had a client call me up and want training in an area that I no longer offer. In my training, I always offer training that's going to get a person a job. So, example, we had done medical billing and coding training for about 6 or 7 years when it first went from the paper to the automated computerized version of doing medical claims. And so it was a big business, and we did really well. We trained 3,000 people to get jobs in that industry. And probably about 2 years ago, we just stopped doing that training because the market was flooded and companies were starting to look for individuals who had experience plus education. And most of our clients that come in the door, they do not have the experience. They're transitioning from one career to another. And so we stopped offering that training because I felt like, I'm not going to train you for a job that you cannot obtain because you have no experience to go with it. And that's what the market is requiring. So we stopped doing it. But what I do, however, do is when a client calls up and wants that training and we don't offer it, I'll recommend another school that does. And also warn that client that if you don't have the experience before you take that training with another company, call the company, one or two companies that you would like to work for, and find out what their criteria is for hiring you in that position, and what type of experience do you need versus the education, or both. And so we not only help the client on several different levels, even though they're not going to be our client or they're not going to become our customer. But when they call us, they're expecting us to help them in some format. So I try to help them, even though I know I'm not going to accept them, but I try to get them in the right direction so that they can actually still benefit from having called us. And in that, we're going to obviously recommend another school that they can attend. So that's what I mean when I say that it is how your product can benefit the customer, the client, or another business. And so important. So important. And when you build that rapport with other businesses, guess what? They'll return the favor. And if they don't, then you shouldn't be doing business with them anyway. Your second type is service. That would be a brief description of your mission statement that describes your service you plan to offer to potential clients. And so when you do that, you create that brand statement presentation that is probably more likely a minute at least. And it will allow you to be able to tell other people about your capabilities and your achievements without losing their interest. So you don't want to go on and on and on about what kind of service that you offer. You really want the goal to be to persuade them that you have a valuable service and you have the experience to actually not only provide that service, but to also deliver on what your promise is and guarantee that service that you're going to be providing them with. Now, how do you actually write this brand statement? You make a list of your company attributes and qualities. You rank them from your qualities in order of importance. And this would be the same regardless of whether or not it is the qualities that are pertaining to your service or pertaining to your product. And if you do both, because most companies do today, they actually will have a service and a product. For example, so I'm a training company and I teach you how to use Microsoft Word. So that would be my service. My product would be I've developed these training guides or how-to guides or free ebooks that will assist you when you're done with the training. So most companies today have a product and a service, and you have to. If no matter what you're doing, if you're cleaning buildings for a business, I mean for your business, then develop your own products. Do the research to find out what it is that you can make for your cleaning supplies. And I had a student who was in our training program, and that's exactly what she did. And the reason she did it was because she was allergic to the chemicals that were in your standard products. So this is like a 15-year-old story. So she started to use ingredients that didn't have all those chemicals and didn't kind of like break her out and cause her any kind of health. So she did the research on it and she found chemicals such as vinegar, mixing vinegar and water opposed to bleach and water. And she came up with these chemicals. Not only were they great chemicals, I'm sorry, not chemicals. They were great products, but they smell really good. She combined the cleaning factor along with things smelling better as well. And I was really proud of her. And in our training programs, we actually have our students do a presentation on what their product and services while they have learned Microsoft Office software. And at that point, it was in class environment. And so she gave everybody a small sample kit of all her products. And to this day, we buy them because they are so, they just work. And, everyone's health conscious today and worried about, what's in the environment and all that. So she took a small project for school and turned it into something that, I encouraged her to actually start to sell it. She only used it for her business. I encouraged her inside the training program to start to sell it. And she's got it in a couple of places. So it was a definitely success story. And part of the initial process was to create your brand, figure out what your brand is going to be for your company. And once you do that, you can figure out where you're going to go with your company. And the same thing with your personal or professional brand. Figure out what your brand is going to be made up of, what your value system is, what your worth is, and then what you're going to deliver when you get that career. And so just understanding who you are and what you're capable of doing will allow you to create that brand that everybody needs to have. Now, in this case, you're actually going to not only do the SWOT, which is SWOT, and like we did develop in our professional one, it was your SWOT, SWAT, This one for business is SWOT, which is your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so, if you're taking our series very seriously, you will email us to get your workbook for the SWOT analysis so that you can see, you can actually complete the actual workbook worksheets and develop what your SWOT analysis is for business. So, again, in review, SWOT is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. For your personal and professional, it is SWAT, like SWAT team, SWAT. And so it is your strengths, your worth, your assets, and those threats. So cool beans. I just think doing those two exercises is going to expand upon exactly where you're going in life, professionally and on the business level. And once you've done your 5 to 7 assets and opportunities, actually, we should change this to opportunities, and I'll go ahead and fix that right now. Once you change it, once you develop what your opportunities from your SWOT analysis, you can incorporate them into your SWOT analysis, and that will create your statement. So again, you're only doing a couple of differences in what you did on the professional level, only because of the fact that you are not only defining who you are now, but who you want to become when you expand that business or you expand into your career. So important, because then you make less mistakes. Then you actually will not only be able to define exactly where you're going, whether it's the career or the business, but you'll also be able to pick up the tools that you need as you're going down that road to success or that circle of success. And you'll know what tools you'll need because you'll identify what the threats are in the professional world as well as the business world. And when you understand what's in the way of getting you to where you're going, then you can acquire those skills. You can acquire those assets. You can determine your self-worth. You can determine your self-value. And then you make better decisions. This is so powerful and it's so easy to implement. I can't tell you. I love doing this series. I really do. All right. You're definitely going to come on board and get the brand worksheet so that you can develop it for the business. You can email me at trinabird@tbirdcenter.com. Make sure you send me your name, address, phone, all that. You'll get the materials that go with these broadcasts. So important that you contact me so that you can get this project done. Also, send your resume. And if it's got all kinds of business entries on there, it should be called a bio. So your business bio and your confidential resume, because it's so important that you identify that there's two documents you should have. One should be for your career, that's career oriented. The other one should be business oriented. Obviously, if you're not thinking about doing business, you don't have to worry about that. You can just go ahead and do your career oriented, which would be your resume. All righty. I wanted to share this with you. It's a video that I got from a previous course that I'm doing. And this link, you gotta, you just, you gotta take a minute and look at this video. When you email me, I will send you the link, or you can just copy it from this slide. It's so important. It's a TEDx video. And if you haven't heard from him, just do the research, learn about it. I took it with another class. It was so powerful, and I wanted to share it with our listening audience as well, or viewing audience. And make sure that we're coming up on 1028. Just make sure you tune in for each one of these modules. We're 10 to 10:30 every Wednesday on Facebook Live. And I can't tell you how important this is to just, take a few minutes out of your day. It's only 30 minutes. The homework assignments are usually just 30 minutes. So an hour out of your week to actually just build a better you in terms of, again, I say it over and over and over, knowing your worth, knowing your value, and implementing it once you actually define who and what your worth is. So important. And remember, knowledge is useless without good execution. Uh, this broadcast is brought to you by Ask Trina. You can find me on Facebook at any time. Hashtag Ask Trina. Contact me if you have any questions. I'd love to answer them through our hashtag Ask Trina. And again, it's brought to you by T-Bird Live and T-Bird Live with Rick Z. So definitely a opportunity for you to just become more familiar with the resources that are there for you just to obtain. We're in a down, slow mode with this pandemic going on. So what better time could it be to just empower yourself, learn more, take as many exercise workshops that you can find just to improve who you are and who you want to become. And remember, we do our Tech Tuesdays. I'm on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 10 to 10:30 every single week. Sometimes Tech Tuesdays comes on 10:30, depending on my schedule. But I still do it every single day between 10 and 10:30. And then on Wednesdays, it's our women webinars. Thursdays is business and career tips, and that's with Rick as well. We'll talk about what's going on in the news and give you some business and career tips for that day. So I look forward to seeing you again. Remember, www. Wednesday Women Webinars. Send your questions to asktrina@gmail.com or just call me at 609-484-9356. I'll be glad to answer any questions. And not only will I be able to answer your questions, but I can also coach you on any project that you're working with or any trouble that you're having. And all of my broadcasts and the materials are free, but there is a fee for the coaching because that's one-on-one, and I provide you with a whole slew of different additional resources that will help you get whatever task you're trying to get done. So we are a minute over, but I just want to say thank you for joining me. And I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. with Thursday's business and career tips with Rick and Trina Bird. And I wish you a great, safe day. And thank you so much for joining me. Have a great, blessed day.